Tom Lasley. I work at the University of Dayton, and I'm also at the Dayton Foundation. Learn to Earn Dayton is an initiative that focuses on intellectual capital development. How do you get more people with post-secondary credentials, post-secondary degrees, so that they have the skills necessary for earning a livable wage for the rest of their lives and finding the kind of employment that's going to be intellectually engaging and personally fulfilling.
How many folks actually are kind of living in the greater Dayton area that you're serving? And do you have any sense of how many have completed a college degree at this point?
If you look at the different cradle to career initiatives, so people who are looking at this, depending on the city that they're in, for example, if they're in Cincinnati, their initiative, their Learn to Earn Dayton initiative is called Strive. If they're in Portland, Oregon, it's called All Hands Raised. Different cities have different, if they're in Louisville, it's called 55,000 Degrees. Different cities have different ways of referring to it. And all those cities are monitoring the percentage of the young people who are securing some sort of post-secondary degree. In Montgomery County, we know that about 34% of our students currently are getting four-year or two-year college degrees. So of the students graduating from high school, about 34% eventually get some sort of post-secondary degree. We know that across the county, for our 35 to 64-year-olds, that's the working population. If you say, okay, let's look at just the working population, we know that about 36% of the working population has some sort of 2 or 4 year degree. So about 1 out of 3 people are getting them, and about 1 out of 3 people have some sort of post-secondary degree, which is far short of what we should have.
Right. I know some of the initiatives that you work on are geared a bit towards the K-12 initiatives, that kind of early childhood development that, of course, hopefully translates into college completion in the end. Can you talk about some of the initiatives that you're working on to really foster and develop that college-mindedness early on?
Well, one of the things that we've done is that we've determined that if we're going to really increase the amount of intellectual capital that we have, we can't discover, in quotation marks, young people when they're 14, 15, or 16, and then try to get them to a point where they're college ready, and then subsequently through some sort of post-secondary program. So we said, look, that's not a smart way to think about this. And so we've created 4 pillars. The pillars are, number one, are they kindergarten ready? We know that lots of economists have studied this, that if you can enhance the kindergarten readiness of your population, you're going to enhance the number of people who are college ready and go to and finish some sort of post-secondary program. So first thing is, are they kindergarten ready? Second thing is, are they reading proficient? We know that third grade young people who are reading proficient in the 3rd grade are much more likely to graduate from high school and go to college than those who are not. So kindergarten readiness, 3rd grade reading proficient. The third pillar is, are they successfully transitioning from middle school to high school? In high poverty, urban school districts, that's when we lose a lot of people. We lose young people at that 8th, 9th grade to 10th grade transition. Once they are there, you either are going to lose them or you're going to hold on to them to the point of high school graduation. So we're trying to figure out how do you deal with that. And then the final one is college and career readiness. How do you make sure that the young people who finish high school are really ready to go on and complete some sort of college post-secondary credential?
As far as, all of these different areas, how have you been able to gather data? I know that's very important for all of the Talent Dividend work and obviously the work that you're doing too. And I've heard from so many cities across the country that both their challenge and their success is their ability to gather data and then share that appropriately.
I think there are 2 different ways you do this. First, we know that there are some public domain sites that you can go to, and this would be true for every city that's a part of any network in the United States. There are some public domain sites. So you can go in and get 3rd grade reading proficiency scores for any high school, for any school district in the state of Ohio. If you're in Florida, the same would probably be true. Texas, California. So there are public domain sites that will give you data around, for example, third grade reading. So for our pillars, the ones I just went through, we have public domain data that shows the performance of kids when they enter kindergarten. There's a test that they give throughout Ohio. It's public access, so we use that data. Same with third grade reading. We have to, for the high school, the transition from middle school to high school, the individual school districts have to submit that data to us. So there's no public domain site that I can go to. We have to go to the school districts and say, can you tell us how many of your students have earned 5 credits at the end of 9th grade, with one of those credits being English, another being Algebra 1, and another being biology? Can you tell us the exact number? And all of the school districts that are participating in Learner in Dayton give us that data point, but they have to generate it themselves. The last one is the college enrollment, persistence, and graduation data. That's also not available on any public domain site. We have to generate that. And we use the National Student Clearinghouse for that particular data point. And all the school districts submit their data to the NSC. We get that back. We just did this, and that gives us the information that we need about the percentage of kids who are enrolling in college, what percentage are persisting, and then what percentage are graduating.
Right. Okay.
So it's a combination of public domain, the school districts generating unique databases for us, and then going to the National Student Clearinghouse for the college data. But that still is because the school districts are voluntarily submitting the data.
You talked a little bit earlier about transitions, whether it's from kindergarten readiness, the third grade reading, but then you started talking about transitions from, middle school to high school to college. What are some of the ways that, I don't know if you categorically want to pick one or both, but that our communities, you're trying to kind of shift communities to change from kind of that culture of completing high school is the number one to instead completing college is the end goal?
We are in a community that has been essentially a high school graduation culture. It's very oriented towards simply getting the young people through high school. So a remessaging of what the goal is has been very important, and we're trying to do that in several different ways. Another aspect of this is all the school districts working to embrace the Common Core, make sure that you have professional development with the teachers so that they understand the elements of the Common Core. And with the Common Core, there's much more of a college and career readiness expectation. So I think we've had a bit of a confluence of variables here that are positive. The Common Core matches quite nicely with what we're trying to do around messaging, that it's important for all young people to be college and career ready. In lots of urban environments, what you see is the teachers intentionally, or I think more frequently unintentionally, simply don't have expectations for the young people to pursue college degrees. And the Common Core is basically moving the bench, moving the bar higher for everyone. And as a result, I think the teachers are having to shift their expectations for what all the young people can accomplish. So through remessaging across the county about we're moving from one way of thinking about your education, your educational goals, that is, completing high school, to getting some sort of post-secondary credential. We're not telling everybody they have to get college degrees. We're saying you need to have some sort of post-secondary specialization. And then having new expectations around the Common Core come in that are more college and career ready. I think people are really beginning to understand the importance of thinking in more aggressive ways about the academic goals that our students should be trying to achieve.